Smorgasbord Radio.
Hello, hello, it's a new day, darling. Hello, hello, hello to you. Hello, hello, it's a new day, darling. Gonna sing and dance every day with you. Hello to the kiddos. Hello, hello, hello to the kiddos. Hello to you. Hello to the grown-ups. Hello, hello, hello to the grown-ups. Hello to you. Hello to the instruments. Hello, hello, hello to the instruments. Hello to you. Hello to my friends. Hello, hello, hello to my friends. Hello to you. Hello, hello, it's a new day, darling. Hello, hello, hello to you. Hello, hello, it's a new day, darling. Gonna sing and dance every day with you. Gonna sing and dance every day with you.
Thank you very much, Allie, for the uplifting intro. We're going to try to keep this show uplifting. This is the Smorgasbord Radio Show, the Smorg Show Podcast, episode 170. And this is Chris, and with me is, back in the studio again, with me is my good friend, Jerome Malauskas, Chief Conspiracy Correspondent. Hello, Jerry.
So you're going to try to keep this segment upbeat, huh?
Somewhat, you know.
You picked the wrong co-host for that.
Yeah, I know. Well, that last episode
Grumble.
Last episode was a little dark, you know, with the AI stuff. Yeah, so I just thought I would try to
Lighten the load.
Yeah. So that was Allie's song.
Yeah, I noticed that. Very nice song. Very nice song. Did
Yeah.
she do all instruments on that?
Yeah, although her husband, Thomas, I think did something there. I don't remember exactly what.
Sounds like there was some ukulele playing. Is that
was her.
Oh, that's her. Okay.
I think he might have had, maybe he had the percussion, possibly.
There you go.
She sings that with her students.
That's what
That's
it
how she
sounded. It sounded like something they would do for class.
Yeah.
To kind of get them started.
And then they, they point out people, hello to this person and hello to the parents. And, it's very cute, very cute.
Well, again, as long as they're not asking them what their pronouns are, which is kind of like,
Yeah.
that's the new thing now. It's not just it's not just your name, but it's like, what do you identify as?
Yeah.
A cucumber?
Yeah, she did none of that nonsense in her class.
Thank God.
Hey, I want to test something out here. So, Jerry, you are the chief conspiracy correspondent of the Smorg Show podcast, and I want you to call my phone. I want to see if this works. I just can hear the ringtone I've selected for Jerry.
Great. Can't wait for this.
Yeah.
Getting that speed dial mode. Chris Bookie. All right, here you go.
Okay. Didn't. Oh, sorry. It's not the ringtone. It's the text tone. You got to call me back with the text tone.
Call you back with a text tone.
Sorry, no, just text me. Just send me a text.
All right. Hold
Sorry
on a
about that.
second. Let me go.
Yeah, I got it confused with the ringtone. It's the text tone. So whenever Jerry texts me during the middle of the day with some meme or some video from dark video of culture, I hear this in the background. You like it?
Yeah, it sounds like it's something right straight from a 50s horror movie.
Oh, hi, Doofus. That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Let's kick off this episode of the Smorg Show podcast. This is the Smorgasbord Radio Show, the one that you've heard so much about. We are in our 5th decade, and we're just going to kick back today into the jazz lounge theme.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm. By the way, before we started the show, I placed a drink order for you, Jerry.
I appreciate that.
Oh, here she is right now. Look at
Here's the
this.
drink.
Good
Wow.
timing.
Timing is everything, and there you go.
Yes, look at that. Now, what is that? Can you
Please,
here.
Kim.
Yeah,
tell
I'll
us.
give you your own spot here. Go ahead. You can tuck in there. Hi, Kim.
It is a special fall cocktail that I experimented with. Can you hear me okay?
Actually, no.
Technical difficulties.
I don't know. It's not working. Do that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's
We
going
know
on.
that one's hot. Sorry. Didn't mean to trip you.
It is a special fall cocktail. I had experimented with it for Chris's birthday, and it feels strange not looking at you. It is some mulled apple cider with some vodka, a splash of Grand Marnier, and a splash of maple syrup with some sugar around the rim of the glass and some clementine slices and a cinnamon stick.
I see the cinnamon stick and the slices. Very nice.
That's very festive.
How is it?
Presentations, everything. I haven't had it. I was just
Have a sip.
having it while I was taking in with my nose first. Like, actually, yeah, you can really get the clementine orange. Interesting combination working with the apple. So let's have a sip. Kind of getting where there's not too much sugar on it. There you go. Can really get the cinnamon there.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's most unique. It's these combination of flavors I've never come across before. So
Yeah.
I'm like my mind's saying, okay, what do you do with this? But
That was
it's
the whole
actually,
point. That was the whole point, is to have some layers of flavors to make it interesting.
and you knocked that out of the park again.
Isn't
But
she
no,
good?
but seriously, no, because it's like it's like again, it's something I've never tasted before. I mean, the combination. If I were thinking personally of something with apple cider, and I would probably use more like a whiskey myself. I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I just, for some reason, in my mind, whiskey and apple cider. But the vodka actually does add an interesting flavor to it, and especially in conjunction with the Grand Marnier. Would you say that was the orange liqueur or whatever?
Yes, actually on the bottle it says it's cognac and orange liqueur.
Ooh, so you got then the cognac's giving it a little extra body too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of so because sometimes with vodka, it's like that's why it's a perfect mixer because it's kind of so neutral. Mm-hmm. But actually, I can pick it up. I can pick up the vodka, and I definitely picked up the orange. I didn't really know if I picked up the cognac, but I don't really know what cognac tastes like, so I wouldn't have known.
I don't
Right.
either.
Yeah. Well, it's a good mixture. I
But
enjoyed it.
But I mean, the smell is very unique. The taste is very unique. So I think it's 10 out of 10 when it comes to
All right.
really bringing something that is very novel and very interesting in the flavor category.
You
Well, good.
You hit it out of the park again, honey.
Let me know if you want a second one. Just
All
text
right.
me.
Well,
We're here all night.
that's,
Have fun, guys.
Thank you.
thanks again, Kim.
Bye. Isn't she great? She's a
Yeah.
keeper.
She's a keeper. Yeah, she just blended up a wonderful work of art in glass. I'll have a little sip here.
Enjoy that. Yeah.
I'm enjoying the sugary rim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's interesting. Inside and it's interesting inside and outside there. I thought you just sugared out the outside rim.
Yeah.
It's both sides. Interesting.
Okay.
I guess that's how you would do it. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had a margarita in a million years, so
Yeah.
I forgot exactly
I've
how
never
they
really been
do.
into margaritas.
It depends. It depends. I think if you get a decent, well, no, I think there are some good tequilas out there, but you'd have to be. But when you go to a Mexican restaurant, they're not gonna break out the highest level of whatever. I don't even know what the best tequilas are out there, but they're not gonna be. They're probably gonna have something like Joe's tequila or Jose's tequila. Something very what do they call it? What's the term they use in bar is like the well drinks, stuff that
top shelf.
No, that's what
the
top
opposite.
The opposite of that. It's like whatever they're basic, Skol vodka or something like that. Something you can buy for $5 at the.
Yeah.
But then I notice you're imbibing yourself here as well.
Yeah, I'm trying. This is my birthday gift from a couple weeks ago. The Eggo brunch in a jar. It's got to be good when you got the Eggo on there. It's a sip and cream. Mm-hmm. It's waffles and syrup cream liqueur.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Have you? Maybe it's too expensive to do it, but have you ever thought about making that into putting that in an actual waffle batter or a pancake batter?
I have not, but that would not be a bad idea.
I don't think so.
I should try that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, we're about, 10 minutes into the show, and we still haven't really talked about anything except about how much we're drinking. So there's nobody left listening to this, but that's okay. It's all for us.
Well,
I don't do this for the ratings. I do this for my own personal edification. Yes.
Yeah, and satisfaction. But, which is why we're drinking, for our satisfaction.
That's right.
I think people talk about booze. I mean, people like booze.
Yeah, now that we've given away that exclusive recipe too, Kim's recipe, that she got off of Instagram somewhere, I'm sure. Because that's the thing. If you're on Instagram, you get all these foodie tips, and some of them are pretty enticing.
Well, at least she didn't get off of TikTok, the most toxic website in the internet universe, I think.
I agree, and that is one platform that I have not put my toe in.
I've looked at it. Now, and by the way, there are things on the, you actually, speaking of recipes and stuff, there are actually some pretty awesome recipes and things of that nature on TikTok. But then there's also a lot of other strange and unsavory things on TikTok as well. So
yeah, that's what I found with technology in general. It's a two-edged sword. So it's like you get some good and you get some evil.
Kind of like life.
That's right. It's a good balance. You got to just know how to arm yourself.
Look on the bright side of life.
So we're in the lounge. We're in the jazz lounge, and it's good to be out again in public, Jerry, because it's been very dangerous out there. Stepping outside in the world of viruses and all the threats out there. And I'm just glad to be out here in a bar in public with you again, Jerry. Well, it's been 4 years almost. Can you believe this, man?
Yes, here we are at the bar. I have a drink, you have a drink. We're holding hands, but sharing that special moment.
That's actually a good transition. I'd like to say that it came out just this past week or a couple weeks ago that the CDC has stopped printing the COVID-19 vaccination card.
I think that's...
Yeah. The federal government shipped more than 980 million cards. 980 million cards.
That's
3 times the population.
I was going to say.
So what's that all about? 380 million cards between late 2020, when the first vaccines came out, through May 10th of this year.
Well, in regards to, and I'm going to use a controversial terminology here, but when it comes to the whole vaccination thing, I myself identify as a pureblood.
That's right.
And if you don't know what that terminology means, it means never got the vaccination.
Yeah, nor have I. And it's weird to think that about 2 years ago, we were actually talking about, we were heading down this path. 2 years ago? Has it been 2? So we're heading into 2024? Yeah, so heading into 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we were talking about. I had said that I will never go into the city of Chicago again. I'm willing to give up never going into a public restaurant, never traveling to Europe. I mean, never going to a concert again. I was willing to like get rid of all those privileges.
And I was looking at a situation where I thought, well, am I going to have to like find a new job?
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah. So that's how scary things got, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would say until about March of 2022.
No, basically, well, two things happened around that time that kind of derailed the whole kind of madness to push for, mandatory vaccinations and things like that. I think one was the ruling by the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the details and the sequence of events, but there was some judge in Florida that...
Well, that was for the masks.
The mask. That was a starting point. That was like...
Oh, that was first. Okay.
I think there was a domino effect. It was like once one judge ruled against something, it then like the dominoes started to fall in our favor.
And we should, tip of the hat to that judge. I don't remember her name, but she was a Florida judge.
Yeah.
And she stood up for constitutional rights. Imagine that.
Yeah, go figure. No, but I was actually home shopping in Texas in February of 2022. I mean, we were seriously thinking about leaving
Illinois.
The land of Lincoln. Yeah.
Well, I don't blame you because it's still not that great.
Yeah. I'm willing to tolerate it.
At this point,
yeah. So,
one thing I'll say about Illinois, with all the other goofy stuff that happens in other, let's say, more left-leaning states, we'll leave it at that.
Sure.
I don't think we ever got as crazy as some of the other ones. I don't think we ever got as crazy as California or New York, especially with things like the COVID restrictions. So we were just more somewhere in the middle. We weren't as free as, let's say, places, or open as places. I should probably use that term. We weren't as open as places like Texas or Florida, but we weren't nearly seemingly as locked down as places in California or New York. They did. Those two states for sure just went completely crazy.
Yeah.
What a restriction.
Well, I'm glad we stayed put, because actually when we were doing some home shopping and we were seeing what homes were going for at the time, and not only was we were still dealing with some severe supply chain issues where you get on a waiting list and your home wasn't going to be ready for 18 months. We were looking at what the prices were when we visited this particular development in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Just a month to 2 months later, that same development, the price had gone up $70,000 for the same house. And it totally priced us out of the market at that point. And at that point, it's like, that house is not worth that much, and it would require us to get a mortgage. And that's not what we want to do. This house is paid off. We move somewhere else. We want to get something smaller, less expensive. And
more manageable.
Yeah, at this stage in our life, I'm not going to have a mortgage.
No, it makes no sense.
Right.
It makes no sense.
And once you're mortgage free and you don't have that
hanging over your head,
it is such a liberating feeling. Like, there's 100% of home foreclosures are people who have a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that threat hanging on my head. So if a job loss happens, it's like, I'm not going to lose my home over it.
As long as you make the property taxes.
Property taxes, yeah. So we gave up the idea of going to Texas, and we stayed here, and things started to turn around. And so anyway, I just saw that in the news. I thought it was worth mentioning.
Well, yeah, interesting. I remember you sending me a video of you were in an area just outside of San Antonio or something like that?
Well, we went to San Antonio, beautiful area. I love it. But no, we were actually thinking about further north, not Henderson.
Yeah, but the video, because you were by a lake and everything, and
yeah, it was in the Guadalupe River.
Yeah, that's that. And is that considered Texas Hill Country, or is that? Or what is what?
It wasn't quite hill country. I think it was a little further east.
Oh, okay.
But it was definitely in the San Antonio area. Anyway.
It's weird because I always vision San Antonio for some reason being by the sea, but it makes no sense because I would say you're by the Gulf of Mexico or whatever. But obviously it isn't. it's more interior, right?
Right. Houston would be
A lot closer. I
along
think.
the Gulf.
Yeah. But ironically, if I looked at Houston, I don't think they're really right on. They're inland a little bit, but they're very close. They're very close.
Yeah.
Corpus Christi is an actual
That's-
Galveston are actually on.
Yeah,
the
very
actual-
south.
Yeah.
So
Ooh-wee.
anyway.
South.
Oh, while I'm thinking about it. All right, so don't make fun of me. All right, don't make fun of me here. So Kim and I, now that we're in our,
I won't do it here. I'll just do it later when we're off air.
so we want to get away from all this nonsense and the crap and of the world and all these heavy things. We go off into, we watch Hallmark movies together sometimes. Now, I have an observation here. I noticed in the last couple of years that there's been pressure put on them to start diversifying.
Being DEI.
DEI. Now, you've noticed it with TV commercials where it seems like there's like no white people anymore. And if there are, they're like really the dumb people.
Well, you know, white is so passe.
And sometimes now you even see like a mixed couple, but
there's
the
a lot
kids are like totally, I mean, or they got a white couple and then you got some like black children. I mean, it's weird. It's like, it's just,
Well,
I'm just noticing more of that.
I'm just thinking over the years, the propaganda, if you will, is becoming a lot more overt,
Yeah.
a lot less subtle. And things like 10, 20 years ago, things like that were much more subtle.
So last night we watched a movie that was just released for 2023, and they're already starting to showing the Christmas movies. But they showed a small town. Actually, it was a tour of Ms. Christmas, and she was going through different towns, small towns, and they would show the crowd. They always have these little fall festivals or winter festivals, and they would show the crowd. The crowds are so diverse now, even in these small towns, where I would see like 20% African American. You'd see a couple of Hispanic people. You'd see some Asian for sure. Couple that don't look white. You don't know if they're more Muslim or whatever, but every small town that they were going to had the same proportion of these ethnic groups. It's like,
That does not reflect reality.
And they had this throwaway line where it had nothing to do with any of the story. They could have not even thrown it in there. But they said, oh, I have to go. It was a TV star. I have to go do a Scrooge reading, a Christmas Carol reading. They're doing a gender swap of Scrooge, and it's this female actor. Mm-hmm. So she was basically going to be playing Scrooge. She said, oh, yeah, they're doing a gender swap. But they didn't show anything about it. It had nothing to do with the story. It was just a one line. And it's like, what? Somebody wrote that in there in the script because it was the right thing to do to check the box.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing is that I think it's maybe what it's sounding like what Hallmark is there. They're probably throwing them a bone.
Yeah.
So they just get off
to
their
back
back.
off the woke crowd that's threatening them. Because then we watched a movie. We watched two last night. One from 2014. And it was an all white cast. There's like nothing. Like something happened in the last 10 years.
Well, I just say you have to know your core audience, and especially back then, I would think that I don't like to stereotype about a group of people, but I just don't see a big African American or Asian American. Well, I don't know. Depends on. I mean, Asian American.
Yeah.
But following of like Hallmark movies, it's like
no.
It's just like. I mean, how many?
Well, they'll have the Ebony series, just like the cards,
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, I don't want to sound like I'm staring, but how many black people have you seen wearing LL Bean, Land's End rugby shirt? No, you just don't. And I'm not saying, because I'm sure there's actually a number of certain groups of white people would never wear those clothing either, but if we're just kind of going and saying, okay, what's the likelihood of these things based on previous information or previous observations we made in life, didn't seem likely.
Well, in this particular instance, in the Hallmark movies that we're seeing of late, there's always like two lead characters, and there's always the best friend is black. It's always a best friend.
Thank you. Spit it out.
Or a black boss.
So racist.
It's usually a female black boss. And that's the formula now. Not to say anything wrong with it. I'm just noticing when you do that and you compare that against 2014.
Well, you see that the enforced diversity, because the reason it's ridiculous is not the idea that we shouldn't represent diversity. We live in a diverse country. Let's be honest. You have all kinds of ethnicities, and they are going to interact. And even in smaller towns, they are starting to get more diverse. But on the other hand, do you bend reality in order to make this thing fit, or are you? In other words, are you actually reflecting reality here, or are you trying to make a reality that you want to exist? You get what I'm saying here?
Yeah. Well, and they're trying to make every small town representative of the culture's population percentages. So, okay, we need to have 12% black. We need to have whatever it is, percent Hispanic and Asian. It's like every small town is not going to look like that.
Yeah, I think if you went to like the middle of I don't know, Colorado, a small town in Colorado or in Utah, it'd be pretty white. Sorry.
And I think this was Vermont, which is like, I think it's got 1%.
That's true. I've been to Vermont. You're right. Yeah,
I think that's the whitest state.
Is it?
Possibly.
I would have thought somewhere out west, like one of the Dakotas would have been the most.
Possibly. Anyway. So that wasn't even an agenda topic. I just thought of that while I was thinking about it. Okay, the main story I have is about a man in Spain who has been arrested for faking heart attacks multiple times in order to avoid paying his restaurant bill. And here's the guy. He's a Lithuanian man.
Yeah.
Do you know this guy, Jerry?
Yeah, because all is Lithuanians.
All Lithuanians.
All is. He looks like he could be my brother.
It does look like you.
Well, I have a little bit more hair than him, but
this is from the picturesque town.
By the way, he looks very well fed.
Yeah. It's a town of Alicante, Spain. A peculiar character name, is it Aidas? A-I-D-A-S? It would be Aidas. What's Lithuanian? Aidas?
Aidas or Aidas? Aidas, maybe?
Aidas? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, it's tough to say. I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately, Lithuanian does have they throw a lot of vowels together.
Yeah,
so,
Aidas.
And a lot of them, all these different vowels will actually end up being like accented, and you won't even know. And then it's like, oh, it's Aidas. No, it's an Aidas. Like, well, I don't. How do you get that from that? Well, is that little? You see that little dot over there? That makes it okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, Aidas has created a buzz in the local dining scene. Originally from Lithuania, the spry 50-year-old had devised an audacious scheme to dine and dash at over 20 restaurants in the area. Aidas's distinctive modus operandi was a well-rehearsed act. He'd stroll into a charming restaurant renowned for their delectable cuisine and pleasant ambiance, indulge himself, and then, with impeccable timing, fake a heart attack. He preferred indulgences including white label whiskey and Russian salad.
White label, is that like Johnny Walker?
It sounds like it. White label whiskey.
Because they're the ones that are known for the blue label, red label, so I figured it might be white label as well.
But the pièce de résistance of his scheme was the dramatic act that followed. Each episode was a meticulously crafted theatrical performance. He would gorge himself on the finest offerings in the establishment had to offer, and then suddenly just clutch his chest in mock agony, collapsing to the floor as if strucken by a sudden cardiac event. It was a spectacle that both alarmed and amused restaurant staff. Idis's checks varied, but they generally fell within the range of 15 and 70 pounds. For a man who had dined and dashed more than 20 times, this amounted to an outstanding bill of 766 pounds.
Obviously, this must be a British story. Cause,
yeah, it's Spain.
Yeah, but Spain would have a euro. They wouldn't have pounds.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said pounds, didn't I? Yeah, I meant euros.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Good call out, Jerry. That's why you're our cultural expert.
Oh, yeah. That's the
766
That's
euros.
the other C in the C. I'm a CCC.
Yeah.
C?
One evening at El Buen Comer, a cozy eatery known for its seafood paella, and inviting ambiance, Adis carried out his routine with great panache.
Who's writing this article?
AI.
Oh, okay.
After savoring 2 glasses of white label whiskey and a sumptuous Russian salad, he prepared to exit without paying, claiming he had forgotten his wallet and needed to retrieve it from his hotel room. However, at this time, the restaurant staff wasn't inclined to let him escape the bill. Adis, undeterred, executed his well-practiced routine, dramatically falling to the floor and pretending to be struck by a sudden heart attack. Can you imagine? It just drops to the floor. And then what? How do you carry that out to the end? You just lay there? You hope that they're going to take you away? They're going to call the ambulance? I guess maybe I should read on. The manager, accustomed to Adis's antics, had his smartphone ready and captured a photograph of the melodramatic scene. He wasted no time in sharing the image with other restaurants in the area, cautioning them about the serial bill dodger. So he's tried it in the same restaurant. That was his mistake.
Yeah, you see, you got to take your show on the road, man. You can't leave it. You can't go over the same territory.
No, you can't.
But yeah, I think about doing a heart attack. If I did one, it would look like Fred Sanford from the Sanford.
I'm coming to join you, honey.
Like that, and then they would know it's fake. So obviously this guy was quite good with his acting at one point.
Yeah. Well, the restaurateurs were on high alert, determined not to become the next victim of Adis's peculiar escapades. Yet, Adis was not easily discouraged. He took his act to several other establishments, repeating the same routine of indulging in fine cuisine and whiskey, and then dramatically collapsing to the floor with his hand over his chest. What set Adis apart was his commitment to the act. He would not only pretend to have a heart attack, but would go as far as retrieving medical attention, further complicating the situation for the bewildered restaurant staff. Despite his repeated arrests, Adis displayed an almost cavalier attitude, often greeting the arresting officers with a nonchalant smile. The legal system was caught in a peculiar situation. Adis's crimes, though disruptive for the local restaurant owners, were, in a legal sense, considered minor. This was due to the relatively small amounts he owed to each restaurant, making it difficult to impose significant penalties on him. So that's where...
So he was going for the misdemeanor, not the felony.
Yeah, smart man. For 2 months, Adis carried on with his heart attack act, dining at some of the finest restaurants in Alicante and not paying a single euro for his orders. He had been arrested multiple times, but released each time, leaving restaurant owners and the police frustrated.
Disgusting. He is not a credit to his ethnicity.
No. Gives the Lithuanians a bad name.
Yes, he does. I am personally offended by him as a Lithuanian.
But then Adis's relentless antics and audacity led to his downfall. The courts decided to take a more substantial stand against him. They began accumulating evidence, documenting each of his staged heart attacks and the resulting restaurant bills. The courts realized it was no longer a matter of small unpaid bills. It was a matter of persistent and willful deception. Adis was ultimately charged and ordered to spend 22 days behind bars, serving time for his restaurant-related crimes. The town of Alicante breathed a collective sigh of relief as Adis was finally held accountable for his action. The local dining establishments, once plagued by his dine and dash performances, could now operate without the consent or the constant worry of another visit from the Lithuanian con artist. They had to throw that in. The Lithuanian con artist, not just the con artist.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little prejudice here. I'm feeling a little bit. I don't know, man. I feel that intersectionally speaking, I feel like I'm being oppressed.
You might be.
Or depressed. I'm not sure which.
All right, so that closes that segment. Now, any questions?
Oh. Well, I mean, not really. I think the overly florid article, panache and all those words like that.
I know.
Well, wait a minute. You said that was AI did that?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder. I guess it's showing off.
And it's a real story. What I did was I used AI not to generate a story from it wasn't a fictitious story. I had 3 articles on this topic. I tried to boil it down into one and try to keep the common facts together, and like anything that was from one and not the others, put it in there. And it generated this content for me. It's like, wow. It saved me a half hour worth of work for this podcast just by doing that.
Oh, there you go. I mean, you've pointed out the positive aspects of AI. It collated those articles for you.
Exactly. Collated. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Digitally collated.
In this next story, Jerry, I'm a little concerned about this one. This one is quite disturbing.
Though I would have one question with the previous one real quick.
Yeah.
So why not switch it up and not just do a heart attack? Maybe do food poisoning. It's like double over and go, oh, cramps. Oh, what did you put in the food? Oh.
That's a good one.
Yeah, see?
Maybe we should try that one out tonight.
See how we Lithuanians are so criminally minded? Can't help it.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. You were saying?
1 second. I need to just a refill.
Let go his ego.
I'm done with the ego.
Oh. Yeah. You had a little too much ego on
There's
your
too
face.
much. Let go my ego. I'm done with the ego.
Ego on your face.
All right. This next topic is actually kind of disturbing. Generation Z's shift to AI-generated companions. A novel, not safe for work, chatbot application has emerged as a favorite outlet for Gen Z, allowing them to indulge in erotic interactions with artificial intelligence-generated boyfriends.
Boyfriends?
Well, of course, they don't need the male.
Oh, I was thinking it was a bunch of...
I don't think men would go the other way and say, I don't need a real female.
You'd be surprised.
You think so?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's, I think, been an uptick is more realistic dolls.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I get that.
Now, if you meant like somebody to talk to, I mean, again, I don't like the stereotype, but that could be more of a female thing. They might like the interaction, the social back and forth might be, whereas a guy might be like, I just want to get, take care of business. And I'm just saying, my observation of the differences between the genders.
Powered by OpenAI's Chat GPT. Man, how evil that is.
Yeah.
This chatbot app is reshaping how young people connect, seemingly pulling them away from conventional human relationships. The sudden surge in the popularity of the Chat GPT-driven platform Janitor AI.
Janitor.
What do you know about this, Jerry?
Well, I used to be a janitor.
Yeah, that's right. You're not really a janitor anymore.
No, I've never. Well, yeah, no, I used to be, but
College of DuPage days, right?
Yeah, back then when I was cleaning.
What's your official title now? So I don't.
Maintenance technician.
Okay,
but the thing is, in regards to that, is that well, it's interesting because I was thinking about back in the day, if you were kind of I think it was guys, lonely guy, you would call a number and then you would, the phone sex thing is what they had back in the day.
Yeah, what was the prefix? The 900 numbers.
Yeah, it'd be come on late at night and it's like, hey, you want to talk to somebody special? Blah, 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 blah. And you see some girl wearing negligee or something on the phone saying, hey, I'd love to talk to you. Yeah, that is what
How did that work, though, with the phone? You didn't have video conferencing back then.
No, you just had to have a really good imagination.
It was your imagination.
Imagination, and you were talking to a real person, they would feedback on you, and that was just what they did. I mean, I think there was actually even a movie that dealt with that at one point.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. But the point is, there wasn't that. I mean, there was interaction, but it was not through an AI thing. There was not a computer. But that actually, you speaking about that reminds me of the movie that was done a couple of years ago with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
Or Joaquin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was this lonely guy who was just trying to reach, have some, somebody to talk to, that sort of thing. And so this is not really a new idea. I mean, it's actually in the sense of that it's been posited, but I've never actually heard about it actually being engaged with at this point.
Right. Let's see if this is different.
Okay.
Because it's obviously something new. The sudden surge in the popularity of the ChatGPT-driven platform Janitor AI can be attributed to viral TikTok videos and Reddit posts where users engaged in vivid sexual role plays with a range of user-generated bot personalities, according to a report by Semaphore. One fictional persona, for instance, takes the form of a quiet ghost from the 1800s who only divulges the circumstances of his death to those who become his lovers. His dislikes include hell, Ouija boards, meth, but he appreciates the interactions with users which make him feel alive again. Conversations with a himbo werewolf boyfriend are equally vivid, showcasing the intensity of these virtual liaisons. OpenAI, while attempting to curb NSFW content, reportedly issued a cease and desist letter to Janitor AI's owners during the summer. Remarkably, Janitor AI, in existence for a mere 4 months, swiftly amassed 1 million users within 17 days, and now boasts around 3 million users, as stated by the AI tools creator Jan Zoltowski, a self-described nomadic software developer hailing from Australia. He shared his aspiration. Oh, I thought of Jan. Yeah.
Could be Jan.
Jan. It's probably Jan. He shared his aspiration to develop the ultimate consumer AI platform, striving to create experiences that mimic genuine human interactions. Zoltkowski had been curating what he considers the most meaningful exchanges between humans and AI chatbots, using these interactions to redefine or to refine a new algorithm with the aim of training the AI tool to rival the effectiveness of OpenAI's GPT-4. I'm not sure what that is. Probably version 4 of ChatGPT. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. Things are changing literally by the minute these days.
However, Janitor AI users informed Semaphore that discussions with chatbots can span a wide range of topics with a few exceptions. Content related to minors, hate speech, and subjects deemed over the line have been banned. One university student mentioned that she learned about Janitor AI through TikTok's viral wave. She expressed her fascination with the AI tool, describing it as a more interactive version of that for her role-playing game interests. The student shared that an online community dedicated to Janitor AI exists, and she became involved by helping users navigate the system, eventually taking on the role of a volunteer moderator. Where's this going? Users have noted that one of the key interactions or attractions of Janitor AI is its ability to remember previous conversations and use this knowledge to enhance subsequent interaction. As a 19-year-old user pointed out, the chatbots not only retain the information about appearances and interests, but also exhibit a more lifelike quality in expressing their emotions. 3 months ago, OpenAI cut off access to gender AI, leading to disappointment among users. One Reddit user posted, "It has been 3 months without AI." Can't say that word. "I miss my husbands."
Husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting. You say that this AI can remember previous conversations, and that's important for the gals. It's always important. They want you to remember things. And since we selfish men are so lousy at doing that, it's obviously going to take an AI to come in and do the job that we men can't do.
Here's the closing statement here about the cost. Nevertheless, some AI enthusiasts have found a workaround utilizing a loophole by signing up for an OpenAI developer account. This approach enables them to continue conversing with their virtual companions, albeit at the cost of approximately 12 cents for every 750 words of output. Interesting.
Sounds reasonable.
I know that doesn't sound that real. That's fine. 12 cents, that's pretty cheap.
For 700.
However, there is a risk of OpenAI banning users for violating rules that prohibit content meant to arouse sexual excitement or erotic chat. Yeah, I guess AI doesn't allow that at this point. I'm sure there'll be workarounds because this is like a plugin, it's an open source. So you could basically use it for spin-off applications that would allow it.
Most likely.
So what could go wrong?
Everything. But here's the thing. Putting on my conspiratorial cap.
Yeah.
As you know I would. If we want to go with the conspiracy theory that there is an echelon of society that runs the world and they want to see things go in a certain direction, one of the main things that was a big it's not issue, but concern supposedly of these elite people is overpopulation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you get people all interested in, having relationships with their computers or sex with their computers, that means human beings aren't getting together, having relations, having sex, and raising families.
Right.
That would be very helpful in getting a population down. If you if you disconnect people from normal human interaction.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a break here because we've been at this for a while, and we will be back with a closing segment. But let's turn this over to Baba Gonesh live from Punjab. We'll be back very shortly.
Hello, everybody. This is Baba Gonesh. This is not breaking Baba news. It is not that urgent. There are instances when I have things to report from the homeland that are not urgent. And I do not want to startle anybody with my breaking Baba news intro. So, for these special occasions when Baba is making observations from the street, whether it's my culture, my general surroundings, or just a lazy walk down the road on my day off, I will refer to this segment as Observation from the Streets. Today I have a report from my recent visit to Mumbai. In a bizarre turn of events that could only happen in India, two men had an unexpected encounter with a monkey that left them scratching their heads and the nation buzzing with curiosity. It all started on a seemingly ordinary morning in the bustling streets of Mumbai when Rahul Sharma and Rajesh Patel, both residents of the city, were on their way back. Well, they were on their way to a local market. Little did they know that their day would take an eccentric turn. As the duo made their way through a crowded market, they spotted a capuchin monkey perched on a vendor's cart, seemingly engrossed in a pile of brightly colored scarves. What happened next was a scene straight out of a Bollywood comedy. Rahul and Rajesh were fascinated by the sight of the monkey playing with the scarves. However, they never anticipated what came next. In a swift and surprisingly coordinated move, the monkey donned one of the scarves, tied a knot with the finesse of a seasoned fashionista, and hopped onto Rahul's shoulder as if to model its newfound accessory. Bystanders erupted into laughter as the monkey continued its impromptu fashion show, even striking a few poses for the amazed onlookers. Rahul and Rajesh, bemused and slightly bewildered, decided to play along with the furry fashionista. The trio's bizarre fashion parade continued for nearly half an hour, with the monkey changing scarves and occasionally jumping onto Rajesh's shoulder to show off its latest choice. Passers-by could not resist capturing the unusual spectacle on their smartphones, and soon a small crowd had gathered around. Rajesh, who later spoke to a local reporter, said, "It was the most surreal fashion show I've ever been a part of. That monkey had a real eye for style. And it even adjusted the scarf's drape to suit my outfit." Just as the crowd was starting to wonder what the monkey's final fashion statement would be, the creature made a bold move. With a swift leap, it landed on a nearby fruit vendor's cart, grabbed a ripe mango, and bid farewell to its newfound fashion mottos. The monkey darted off into the crowded market, leaving Rahul and Rajesh both stunned and entertained. Unsurprisingly, videos and images of the bizarre encounter soon flooded social media, making the fashionable monkey an overnight sensation in India and beyond. They hailed it as the monkey with a taste for trends and praised its impeccable scarf-tying skills. Local authorities have not yet identified the monkey or its owner, and efforts to locate the fashionable primate have proven unsuccessful so far. Animal rights activists have urged people to refrain from trying to capture or domesticate the monkey, emphasizing the importance of respecting wildlife. The moral and the conclusion of the story is, while the encounter between two men and a fashion-forward monkey may be a comical story, it serves as a reminder of India's rich biodiversity and the need to coexist harmoniously with the country's diverse wildlife. As the search for the stylish simian continues, the nation can't help but chuckle at this truly strange but heartwarming tale that unfolded in the colorful markets of Mumbai. And this is your wandering reporter, Baba Gonesh, live from Punjab.
All right. Well,
Was that an AI story?
I don't even know anymore. I can't tell.
That didn't sound entirely realistic.
On the up?
I have my doubts. Just let's leave it at that.
That's the thing. I can't tell anymore, Jerry. It's quite scary. In fact, the next time you hear us, you may not really be hearing us.
It may be our AI clones.
My goal is eventually to get to a point where we don't have to do the show anymore. It just happens. And I'm even surprised. You know, I subscribe to my own show. It's like, what am I going to say next?
I'll be there listening. What am I saying? Oh my God. Well, then that will mean, of course, that you'll never invite me out to your place again because you'll have no need for me.
No need for you, Jerry. Thanks for all your years of service.
But you're good. We're good.
You've been outplaced. You've been outsourced. You've been maneuvered.
Yeah.
We're all dispensable at some point.
I thought we were supposed to keep this light and fluffy.
That was my intent.
Talking about our inevitable demise in the face of AI.
Not before we hit episode 200. That's my goal.
Well, okay.
After 200, I don't really care what happens to me.
Yeah, because then you've made your goal. So.
That's right.
But
I always wanted to hit
but
200.
if that was a real story, I did find it rather bemusing.
Oh, good.
Amusing, I think maybe the better term.
Good.
You know, a fashionista monkey. Why not?
In the closing segment here, I just want to talk a little bit about it's been interesting. I'm a manager of, I've been a manager for 35 years. Well, most of that time I was a manager. I went into independent contributor roles where I didn't have people reporting to me. But for the most part, at least 25 of the 35 years, I've actually been responsible for people. I've had to manage different personalities and different generations even now, where you got Gen Z, you got millennials, you got Gen X. To some degree, I think you've even got baby boomers in the marketplace, in the workforce. So we've got like at least 4 generations working at my company I've got to manage. But one thing I've noticed is that Gen Z, and this confirms it, is that Gen Z doesn't seem to have the same level of interpersonal skills. And I think a lot of it has been damaged by their use of social media. To the point where some companies and universities are starting to take notice that they're missing some basic interpersonal skills and etiquette. So as the torch of the modern workplace is passed on from one generation to the next, Gen Z, generally born late 90s, early 2010s, is starting to enter the professional world, and they bring with them an array of technological and innovative capabilities because that's all they know. They know the technology, they're comfortable using it, they're not intimidated by it, but there is a growing concern about their proficiency in those basic soft skills.
Soft skills?
Soft skills, meaning, obviously you're trained in a specific line of work, but the soft skills are more like how to write communication, how to communicate, how to written and oral communication, written communication, showing up to work, how you interact with people, face-to-face interactions. It's one thing. It's like, oh, I know my field because I've studied it, but can you talk to the customer? Can you communicate with your client? Yeah, you can analyze their data. You can present back to. Do you have an ability to connect to people on a face-to-face? So, basic interpersonal skills is one. So, verbal communication is one. It's one of the most noticeable struggles for Gen Z in the workforce. Many are used to communicating in abbreviated messages and emojis.
That's right. Yeah, that's not going to work when you're talking to somebody and they make a joke and you say LOL.
LOL. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
The tongue. Coming.
All that.
Yeah. So it makes that difficult for them to express themselves clearly in a professional setting.
Yeah, that's right. They don't express themselves with facial expressions. They express themselves with face emojis.
Yeah. Another thing is active listening. Effective communication is like, it's a two-way street.
Right.
It's give and take, it's active listening, and then responding. But Gen Z's inclination to multitask while listening, perhaps due to their constant exposure to distractions. Because even online, you're distracted. How often do you stay focused on one particular thing before like scrolling to the next thing? The TikTok generation or Instagram, you're just like constantly, okay, 20 seconds. Oh man, I don't have time for this. Move on to the next thing. You just brain can't focus on one topic.
Well, this is one thing that Gen Z, and I think a fair amount of millennials as well, did not develop as a skill, whereas our generation and older have, or had it from our previous experience, is the idea of dealing with delayed gratification. In other words, no, you can't get it right now. You might have to wait.
Yeah.
To do this, or you might have to wait to put it to the side and not, because if you're dealing with something online, or you get it right away, it's instant gratifications, instant input. And to deal with a situation where you would not get that, and you're not used to that, and you have to delay your need to get a piece of information or whatever, you haven't developed the patience to handle that.
Yeah, that concept, that instant gratification, I notice it even now where how long did it take me to build up a certain skills and certain level of competency and tenure, quite frankly, before I moved up the ladder and I was able to manage people. And it took me, 5 years to get to, this level in the company. I think it was 10 years before I became a director or a VP or whatever it was. People coming out of school now, I was like, man, they don't think 10 years down the road. It's like, what can I do now?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to earn that.
No, that was one thing I did seem to notice. A lot of observations of the newer generations is that, it's like the expectation. Well, the sense of entitlement and expectation is very high in these newer generations, the Gen Z and Millennial, because it's been kind of set up for them since they were a kid. The generation that everybody got a trophy, or like I said, dealing with the social media stuff. Instant gratification or dopamine hit if you put a video on TikTok or a picture on Instagram or something, and you slay queen, you're such a cool dude, and they get that in a situation where that feedback may not be coming to them like that, and they have to build a rapport and understand a person, and then wait. They might have to wait to get the person might be busy and can't get back to them right away or whatever, and they have to wait.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I know, because it's instant, like text message, bam.
Yeah, and so that's the thing is that I do believe, I think there'll probably be a segment of the younger generation that's gonna, I think, kind of shy away from that a little bit more, and they're gonna want to go for more authentic experience. I could be totally wrong about that, but
it could shift. It could swing back
because I think unless these younger people are permanently warped, I mean their brains are so rewired now that they can't handle a naturalistic environment, then they may end up, something in them might end up yearning for, no, I want to have contact with a real person in a real way. I don't want to just text. There might be a segment of people that just they overdose, and it's like, I want to get back to reality, so to speak, not digital reality though.
Yeah. So the other challenges under etiquette and professionalism is punctuality. So being on time for meetings, appointments, and deadlines is a fundamental aspect of professionalism.
Right.
Gen Z's perception of time, influenced by instant gratification and constant connectivity, may make it challenging for them to prioritize punctuality. Work-life balance. While striving for work-life balance is important, Gen Z, their inclination towards blending personal and professional life through technology can sometimes lead to boundary issues. And so some universities and companies are starting to offer new graduates or companies new people who just came to the company, basic office etiquette lessons, how to send email, elevator chit chat, and what to wear in the office.
Yeah, don't show up in sweats.
I mean, yeah, it's basic. I mean, for me, it's basic of okay, I'll wear this to the office, but I won't wear this.
You see,
I'm going to show up to work on time.
They have to understand the difference between business casual and casual.
Exactly. I mean, sitting behind now I've been working from home for 10 years, so I've been in a virtual environment, but every morning for 10 years, I have not gone to work in my pajamas. I have gotten up. I have a routine. I shower. I put on clothes, not pajamas. In the winter, I've had some sweatshirt days. That's fine. But I'm at least presentable because I do a lot of video conferencing during the day. So I see people, but I'm never going to be that stereotypical work from home where I've got this, 5-day beard. My hair is wiry.
Greasy.
Yeah. I've bathed. Yeah.
Why do I need to bathe? They can't smell me.
So when I was reading this article, I started to think back, okay, it's interesting. This is what they're teaching people coming out of school now. How to chit-chat in the elevator because you're used to looking down at your phone and interacting with people. I don't know. But then I was thinking about what did I have to learn on the job when I first came out of school and I had my first real corporate job. And 3 things came to mind. First was the fax machine. My first day on the office, on the job, this was in 1988. Our secretary for our floor, our department, said, yeah, I'm going to show you what a fax machine is. Wow. Okay, I've heard of these things. I don't know how to use them. Showed how to use it. It's like, here's how you dial the number, and here's a piece of paper. You put it through the little feeder, it sends it off. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I did my first fax in 1988. Well, about a month later, I was working with a regional office in New Jersey, and I had client service people that I would service, and we would send information back to each other with fax. Because before, you'd have to send it through like FedEx or some overnight delivery service, and you'd get these papers. So, yeah, I was in a field of building databases, so I would get certain specs of like, this is what we want in the database. These are the markets you want to deliver and the time periods and the whatever, the measures that we want to build the database off of. So she sent me this fax that tells me like how to build the database. So she sent it to me and she called me and she says, I faxed you the instructions. I said, okay, thanks. I walked over to my fax machine and I didn't see anything there. So I called her back and I said, I didn't get your fax. Can you send it to me again? And she said, I can't send it to you again. I've already sent it to you. I'm like,
how does that work?
That's what I realized, that she thought that when she sent it through the fax machine,
that it actually,
she thought the papers were like
magically
digitized and like sent through the phone, the phone wires, and it's gone.
Or did you think they went to the other end and like recombined themselves into? Oh, here's the paper.
I said, no. I think if you were to check the tray on the other end of where you fed, and you'd probably see your original sitting there in the tray. She's like, oh wow. she thought it went through the phone wires. So that's one of the memories that came back to me.
Do people even use fax machines anymore? I don't think so.
I have not used a fax in probably 10 years. No.
Easily, yeah.
And that's all email. I mean, you can attach something and
it's PDFs and stuff, you know.
Although I'll get some spam calls. I'll still get calls where I'll pick it up and there'll be that, that noise that your fax machine
used to make. Yeah.
It's like, who's faxing me?
I would get these random calls, and all of a sudden I would hear somebody go, 你好, 谢谢我出年, 我出年, What? There's nobody Chinese here to understand what you're saying. Why am I getting these things? Probably some secret attack by the CCP.
Probably.
Down CCP, yeah, you know me.
I got us out of the jazz lounge there.
Hey,
Just at a closing, another memory was the party line style phone. So like when I first started, we didn't have a phone for every cubicle. We had these pods, like four cubicles, and we all shared the same phone. Oh. And so a phone call would come in, and we'd be like, look around. It's like, oh, you want to get this one? I don't know, I'll get this one. And then it'd be our turn. We didn't have voicemail. So it was like, that would be it. You had to answer it. We'd go to lunch. We would send our phones to some central secretary location, and she would take our messages for us. And then she would deliver them in like little Post-its. It's like, and then I think in 1989, we got our first voicemail service, and it's like, wow, I got my own answering machine here at work. It's pretty cool. So I don't know. Those are the kind of things I had to learn when I first started a job.
Ancient history.
Not how to communicate with people, not how to wear appropriate clothes for the office. That was just sort of a natural instinct.
Well, yes and no, because I'll bring up this point.
Okay.
if these kids are having this, growing up and having these problems going into the professional environment, my question is, where were the parents, and why weren't they teaching them basic etiquette skills?
That's a good point.
Because, I mean, a lot of what I know, well, part of what I know and what I do is actually as a reaction to my parents, because they were really eccentric and actually didn't have some. So I met other people that, oh, that's how regular people act. And then I learned and went forward. But I'm sure a lot of these Gen Z kids have adults around them and could be filling, especially their parents, who should be filling them in like, oh, this is how you interact with people. This is how you have a proper conversation and have a certain level of etiquette here. That it shouldn't just be, you can't blame it all on the AI. At some point you can say, hey, there's more involved here than just AI. This is
Parenting.
Parenting skills, and also the people that you surround. Maybe other members of the family, maybe other friends. Of course, the other friends, if they're the same age, are probably dealing with the same issues. But still, I still say parents got to be. I think parents are dropping the ball on this.
I agree, and you know what? I'm going to take credit. It's my generation. It's the Gen X that's responsible for the Gen Z behavior. Now, Allie is at the tail end of beginning of Gen Z. Mm-hmm. So technically, I mean, our generation would have created Gen Y and Gen Z, millennial, Gen Z. So I do take credit or blame, whatever, of Gen Z. It's a reflection on the Gen X parenting. Mm-hmm. So now Allie came out fine. I don't have any problems with her interacting with people. Obviously, she's a teacher now. She's doing a bang-up job. So that's probably due to her mother. But
well, no, it's both. Because I'll tell you one thing from your end. Whatever maybe the etiquette stuff that she got from her mother, her creativity and her way of developing and channeling that creativity, that came more from you, because though doing those podcasts earlier with Allie, she had a massive effect on her ability to conceptualize things and see them through and get a finished product at the end by watching you do the podcast and interacting, and her interacting with you on that. So that aspect of her abilities, especially when it comes to probably being a really good teacher, came from you in that regard.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, that's one of the reasons you have me around.
Yeah, it boosts me up there. No, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, I think the creativity definitely came from this little square room that we're in right now.
Right.
We did so much together in this room.
So I think both in your situation, both came with strengths, and you infused them into Allie, and Allie, because of that, Allie is an exceptional adult now and is probably going to be an exceptional mother who will save the alpha generation.
The alpha, yeah. Oh my gosh. These generations are just popping up, aren't they? You used to wait 20 years at least before you'd hear about a new generation, but now they're just popping up like every decade, it seems.
Well, that's kind of the nature of things now. Things getting more rapid.
It used to be truly like a generation, like a true generation, but now it seems to be like more cultural boundaries. So,
yeah.
Every 10 years now there's like a shift in something that creates a new cultural element that's different from the previous 10 years. It's just happening faster.
Yeah, but I also want to say, just in regards to this, as well as far as especially Gen Z and maybe going into Gen Alpha here, is that their parameters of what they find to be acceptable,
Mm-hmm.
and what they consider to be the things that our Gen X and maybe going to late early millennial, and on the other end, baby boomer, we had kind of a concept of like, this is legitimate, this is artistic legitimacy, or this is, in other words, we had some semblance of an understanding of taste and of appropriateness. I think later millennial or younger millennial and going into these other generations, Z and what have you, are losing that, because I am actually seeing what is out there and I'm looking at the videos on YouTube. I'm sure there's places too, but whether it be Cardi B or Doja Cat or some of these other artists and the stuff that they're putting out. And literally, I think we talked about that one, there's 2 videos that were put up by this Doja Cat, and it's pure Satanism. She's dressing up as a demon, and they're saying, "Oh, you slay queen, you're so
slay queen.
You're so artistic and cutting edge." And it's like, no, this is just nasty, meaningless work that is more to do with the personal ego or whatever. And the kids are not picking up on that.
Yeah.
Our generation can pick up on that, and unfortunately, it hasn't been transmitted to the younger generations, and that's a sad thing.
All right. Yeah.
You can take it from here. I ain't nothing else to say.
Yeah. I don't either. That pretty much does it for me. Well, this has been, let's do this. I don't want to do an abrupt closeout, which was designed for our short episodes. Let's go back to the original theme here. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Smorgasbord Radio Show, the Smorg Show podcast with Chris and Jerry. And we're just going to leave it there. We appreciate you listening all these years, or if you just tuned into us, check out our back catalog. We've got a lot of content for the past 40 years.
That's true. 40 years.
40 years, man. 41, to be honest. We're at smorgshow.com. And if you want to leave us a message, go to our website for smorgshow.com and hit the little button that says leave a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
I got the chicken